London's Thames, by 1853, was a deadlier river than any predator, claiming over 40,000 lives that year alone. The true killer was a city drowning in its own filth. By the summer of 1858, the heat turned the river into a weapon of mass disgust, known as the Great Stink. 200 tons of lime were dumped into the Thames daily just to mask the smell. It was a citywide chemical perfume. Parliament finally caved, passing a law in just 18 days to authorize one of history's most ambitious engineering projects. That foul odor from 400 tons of raw sewage was so potent that politicians covered parliamentary curtains with disinfectant. Prior to this, 4 major cholera epidemics between 1831 and 1854 had killed over 55,000 Londoners, a truly staggering human cost. Most believed disease spread by miasma, bad air, not contaminated water, and this flawed science hindered effective public health responses. Each day, London's growing population of over 3 million produced hundreds of thousands of gallons of untreated human waste, turning the Thames into an open sewer. Its water was not only undrinkable, but actively toxic. The Houses of Parliament sat directly beside the Thames, and the overwhelming stench made legislative work impossible that summer. For years, politicians debated, ignored, and shelved proposals. The cost was astronomical, estimated at £4.2 million. Public health advocates, like John Snow, fought for science-based solutions, but faced immense skepticism. The Great Stink was a literal wake-up call, making inaction no longer an option. How could they build a city anew from such a toxic foundation? Joseph Bazalgette's audacious plan was originally designed for 3 million Londoners, but this brilliant engineer didn't just double the pipe sizes. He essentially tripled the system's lifespan. This single instruction to just double it is the main reason a Victorian-era system is still functioning today. Bazalgette, a formidable figure in civil engineering, was tasked with salvaging London from its own filth. His radical vision proposed a subterranean network capable of serving a population of 4 million, a bold leap from the 5 million inhabitants of 1858. The grand design encompassed 100 miles of street sewers feeding into 82 miles of massive main intercepting sewers, a truly gargantuan undertaking. It was primarily gravity-fed, utilizing a precise fall of 1 feet per mile to ensure sewage flowed downhill without constant pumping. However, 4 major pumping stations, like the colossal Crossness, were constructed to lift waste where gravity alone faltered, monumental feats of steam power. Bazalgette certainly didn't stop at good enough. The project consumed an astounding 318 million bricks and 880,000 cubic yards of concrete, forging a subterranean marvel engineered for centuries, not decades. His team meticulously calculated pipe sizes for an anticipated 4.5 million people, the densest population on Earth at the time. Then came Bazalgette's singular, decisive instruction: just double it. This decision, seemingly simple, is the primary reason a 160-year-old system still functions for a megacity of over 10 million. It wasn't cheap. The final cost exceeded £3 million, over £500 million in today's money. Can you imagine a project manager today securing the approval for 100% over-engineering? Bazalgette wasn't building for his time. He was building for ours, his foresight uncanny. London's got this incredible secret, a sprawling network of brick and iron underneath. We're talking about 318 million bricks just for the main system. Enough to wrap around the planet 1.5 times if you laid them out. Joseph Bazalgette, the mastermind behind it all, insisted on a brand new material: Portland cement, 4 times stronger than anything before. The whole 1,100-mile maze works purely on gravity, with a gentle slope of just 2 feet per mile. That precise gradient, 1 in 2,640, was key, fast enough to carry waste, but slow enough to stop the pipes from wearing away. But where gravity couldn't quite do the job, massive steam engines stepped in. They built 4 enormous pumping stations, artfully hidden as grand public buildings. The Abbey Mills pumping station, famously called the Cathedral of Sewage, is an absolute showstopper of Victorian Gothic style. Inside, 4 of the biggest beam engines ever constructed, each weighing a hefty 240 tons, were lifting waste a full 40 feet. And over at Crossness, the Prince Consort engine stands as a Grade I listed monument, a world record holder for the largest surviving engine of its type. Keeping these behemoths running took 10,000 tons of coal every year, a serious environmental cost to keep London healthy. This hidden infrastructure is essentially humanity's ultimate defense against disease. Large-scale, unglamorous, but utterly vital. Bazalgette also designed these elaborate pumping stations that looked like elegant Italianate palaces, all while moving 400 million gallons of wastewater daily. This monumental undertaking, finished in just 7 years, cost £6. 5 million. That's around £8.5 billion in today's money. For 160 years, this underground giant has served London, now supporting over 10 million people. Beneath London, something truly monstrous is brewing, a direct product of our daily lives. Consider the 2017 Whitechapel Fatberg, the biggest ever discovered, a 130-ton behemoth of urban waste, stretching an astonishing 250 meters. These colossal blockages form from cooking fat, oil, grease, and flushable wipes that stubbornly refuse to break down. The real culprit, however, isn't just fat, but misleading labels. Those so-called flushable wipes become the hardened core. Around 80% of a Fatberg consists of fats and oils, with the remaining 20% being wipes and other non-degradable gunk. To tackle these, workers known as flushers use high-pressure water jets, blasting at 3,000 psi. That's over 10 times the force of a typical fire hose. It's a job that feels less like plumbing and more like excavating a city's most repulsive history, manually digging through layers of solidified detritus. This whole Fatberg problem truly hit public awareness in 2013 with a 15-ton monster found under Kingston upon Thames. Now, London's 57 overflow points experience a discharge event almost weekly, dumping waste into the city's waterways. In a bizarre turn, though, some of that Whitechapel Fatberg was recycled into about 10,000 liters of biodiesel. To put that 130-ton mass in perspective, it weighs as much as 11 double-decker buses. Disturbing these things can release poisonous, flammable hydrogen sulfide gas that smells as vile as you'd expect. When a system built for 3 million people tries to handle 10 million, what happens when it buckles? It's like a whole double-decker bus of sewage overflow every single week. To save a 19th century marvel, engineers are undertaking a monumental infrastructure heart transplant. This 25-kilometer super sewer, costing £4, 5 billion, is designed to intercept spills before they ever reach the river. The tunnel plunges up to 66 meters below the riverbed. That's deeper than Nelson's Column is tall, a genuine engineering triumph. At 7.2 meters wide, the main tunnel is broad enough for 3 double-decker buses nose to tail. 6 massive tunnel boring machines, each weighing 300 tons, carved out this new artery. These TBMs, named after pioneering women like Rachel and Millicent, channeled Bazalgette's ghost in their heroic job of eating London's subterranean filth. They burrowed through clay, rock, and 1,000 forgotten secrets for years. Once operational, the Tideway Tunnel is projected to capture 95% of the raw sewage that currently overflows into the Thames. This gargantuan investment's core mission is to intercept 39 million tons of raw sewage poisoning the river annually. The £4.5 billion cost makes it one of history's most expensive plumbing bills. Engineers designed this marvel to serve London for at least the next 120 years, allowing a river choked for centuries to finally breathe again. London's 1865 sewer system, built for 3 million, now supports 10 million people, a Victorian engineering feat still saving lives. Before this network, just one 1854 cholera outbreak wiped out over 10,000 Londoners, but such devastating epidemics vanished after its construction. The impact was profound. Average life expectancy nearly doubled, climbing from 35 years to almost 70 by the early 20th century. Joseph Bazalgette's interceptor design set a global standard, influencing cities from Boston to Budapest and ultimately saving millions more. Think about your own biggest project. Still functional 160 years past its deadline, handling 3 times its original load. That's the reality for this astonishing Victorian infrastructure. The 318 million bricks used could build a wall stretching all the way from London to Baghdad. It stands as the 19th century's largest civic undertaking, yet its 9 million daily users rarely give it a second thought. The Portland cement Bazalgette insisted on has proven incredibly durable, with core samples showing it's still strengthening after 160 years. He wasn't just addressing a sewage crisis. He was laying the groundwork for a future city he couldn't have fully envisioned. His public recognition was a knighthood, but his real monument is a system still managing London's waste, keeping it out of sight and out of mind for its citizens. The entire system cost £6.5 million back then, which is about £800 million today, and the planned modern upgrade is expected to be more than 5 times that. Over its lifespan, this incredible network has safely carried an estimated 20 trillion gallons of wastewater, enough to fill Loch Ness, Scotland's largest lake, over 37 times.